Well, hey now, everybody. It's The Rob from 106.1 KISS FM. Here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Also 103gbfrocks.com. Also here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Please welcome to the show the charismatic enigma, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
I only wish that I had a miniature version of me to come in the door right now and do the show.
Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts about SmackDown. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I finally got to see Avengers Infinity War, and I'll start by saying no spoilers. We won't be the ones that do that. But at what point does it become okay to start spoiling? Because how much time do you have to give people to see it? 2 weeks?
I don't know.
1 week? I know if you spoil it the weekend of, you're the biggest jerk on the planet.
I feel like for movies, if they're still in theaters, you know, it might be still too soon.
That's tough because this movie's going to be in theaters for a long time.
It's
breaking all the records.
Yeah, every record.
Dude, it's so good. And I've watched every Marvel Comic Universe movie, and I've rewatched them all because I watched them again with my son, and he's 7, and they're so good. They're so good. And
I used to love them, man. I used to not miss one. And then I don't know, it's I guess it might be like, you know, WWE pay-per-views, and that the more frequently they came out, the less special they became to me.
Well, they started dragging their feet with the ancillary characters. You know, I like the Ant-Man. I like the Ant-Man character. I like the Ant-Man movie, but I don't think it needed to be a part of this arc. Like, I don't know. I feel like they could have worked these. They could have gotten to the end a lot faster.
See, like, I guess it was around the first Avengers was when I kind of started to fall off. I didn't care for the first Avengers. And then like a lot of stuff after it, like Ant-Man I saw and didn't really like. And you and I saw Doctor Strange together, and we both weren't crazy about that one.
Man, the funny thing about Doctor Strange is that I always enjoyed the Doctor Strange comic books. I really did. And there's a lot of lore, and they did the Doctor Strange movie well from a visual standpoint, but the movie storyline-wise, it drug on so much. The Doctor Strange in Thor Ragnarok was so much more interesting, and the Doctor Strange story arc in Infinity War, without giving anything away, is so interesting. Both more interesting than his actual movie, I think. I
also gave the second Thor a shot. I loved the first one, did not like the second one. I gave the second Avengers a shot. We walked out of it. To be fair,
the second Avengers, Age of Ultron, was not very good. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't very good. And the second Thor, Dark World, is probably one of the worst of this entire series of movies. And this is from someone whose Thor is his favorite character. But Thor Ragnarok was one of the best movies in the Marvel Comic Universe.
That's the third one?
That's the third one. That was so good. And it was different because, and you can thank Guardians of the Galaxy, because they changed the way they made their movies after Guardians, because it was such a huge success, to actually add a little humor in there.
Yeah, I saw the first Guardians and I just thought was okay. I wasn't like dying for more, but it wasn't bad.
It was great. So I loved it. I'm just blown away that you haven't kept up to the point where I thought for sure you'd have seen Infinity War by now, but I guess you're not all that worried about it. Did you see Black Panther?
No.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I mean, if someone gave me like a box set of all the Marvel DVDs, I would probably sit down and watch them all in order, and probably enjoy myself. But like I said, it was right after that first Avengers, everything kind of started to fall off for me, and now I feel like I'm too lost to get back in. Like, I can't just go see Avengers without being caught up.
You can't just jump right in. No, I'd say you'd need to at least go back to Civil War. If you started back at Avengers Civil War, you'd be fine. If you started there and caught up, you'd be okay.
Well, like I said,
whatever you'd missed.
If I had access to all the movies, I'd give them all a whirl. But yeah, and it's not like I know, like, I don't know. I don't want to say that Harry Potter sucks, or Lord of the Rings sucks, or Star Wars sucks, or anything, because they don't. I know that they're successful for a reason. They're just not for me. The Marvel stuff, like, I like it. I've just fallen off of it. I respect it.
Well, Marvel is interesting because they used to make really bad movies, like really bad,
Oh yeah,
cringeworthy movies in the 80s. Terrible. Lord of the Rings is funny to me because it's the only instance where I like the movies more than the books. I thought those books were the worst. You had to hold a gun to my head to make me read them in school. They were so freaking boring. One whole chapter is a song. Shoot me in the face.
hated the movie. I gave the first one a shot. I never gave Harry Potter a shot. I just know. In Star Wars, I've been exposed to enough, but I can't.
As for the Lord of the Rings guys, shame on them. I'll never care about them again, ever, because they took one of the shortest books ever, The Hobbit, and they made it into 3 7-hour movies. They should be ashamed of themselves. They took a small story and they made 9 hours a movie out of it. You're an a-hole. You're an A-H-O-L-E.
We know that Jerry does not like when people do things like that. The WWE took a house show on Friday and made it 5 hours, and Jerry was really pissed about that.
Pissed.
Everybody was. I'm the only one. Me and Eric are the only ones who weren't pissed about it.
Maybe I would have liked Lord of the Rings. Maybe I would have liked the Hobbit movies better if I'd watched them on a Friday. Maybe that would have helped.
Fridays rule. I know it's becoming a joke on the post show, but hey, listen, if every pay-per-view is on a Sunday and you're getting tired of pay-per-views, doing it on a Friday will switch things up for you.
6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. A+ on a Friday.
A+ on a Friday, man. Let's talk about SmackDown. I want to start by saying I actually think SmackDown may have won a pretty lax week, beating Raw. Your thoughts?
I'd still give it to Raw. I just enjoyed Raw more, but I liked SmackDown enough that I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't fight with you over this one.
Let me tell you why.
I think it's close. Okay.
Why I'm giving kind of a tie to SmackDown is where we said yesterday Raw was kind of spinning its wheels, didn't really progress a lot. It was kind of a carryover episode to get to between pay-per-views.
Sure.
SmackDown is showing what I feel is incredible growth, and I will justify that statement throughout the episode today. Or you know what? Here, I'll give you 3 great examples, maybe even 4, right off the bat. Since the Superstar shakeup, guys on SmackDown, guys are going to Raw to die, like Baron Corbin, stuff like that. People on SmackDown, let's look at the careers of Carmella, Shelton Benjamin, Big Cass, Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, all in the past 3 weeks, these people are flourishing on the Blue Brands.
I would even use Jeff Hardy as a good example.
Absolutely. I mean, people are taking off and running on SmackDown, and that's not happening on Raw. Will you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and it's interesting because Raw has more time to work with and everything, yet they still seem to need to give you 40 minutes of Rollins and Balor and 25 minutes of Roman Reigns, and they're just focusing on the same olds, and they're not developing anybody.
So much developed on SmackDown since the Superstar shakeup that I was happy with the episode last night, thought that a lot moved forward, and we can start at the top if you want to. I didn't know that they were also in Montreal last night. Montreal, I think we can both agree, is pretty awesome.
Crowd.
It makes me understand why Bret Hart really didn't want to lose there.
Yeah, hot crowd, and they loved him, and he did not want to drop it there for sure.
So, yeah, I can certainly understand that. No, I mean, I'm kind of joking, but
starting at the top of the show, I'll admit something. I don't mind Randy Orton right now. All of a sudden, like they did all right with him last night. I
thought he did a great job. I loved the setup because it was like, okay, so Miz TV starts, Randy and Jeff are all out there, and other people, but Randy kind of was like, I'll hit the RKO when I want to hit it, and then they paid that off at the end of the segment. I made an audible sound when he struck on Jeff Hardy.
I can usually predict his RKO out of nowhere, and I didn't this time. It was good.
I was happy with that, so I liked that.
And I also like how they covered, and I feel like it was a mistake. They covered up the mistake. Miz was still introducing Randy, and they just hit his music. And
no,
so Miz brought it up, and Randy's like, I don't care.
I feel like that was intentional. I noticed
You do?
that too, but they referenced it that was kind of what started some heat with them, was you interrupted me. That was kind of what got them to be a little contentious.
Sure.
So there was that.
I just thought that was Miz working off the cuff, maybe. I was giving him too much credit maybe then.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I also wanted to address something else from the post show. When I'm yelling, I'll accept your D, I know what I'm doing. I admit we didn't pie face people with it, but it was a wink and a nod kind of humor.
I missed it completely.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's like it didn't take away from it. It wasn't, some things are a wink and a nod, and some jokes are a pie in the face. And Jerry's more a pie in the face guy, and I was given a wink and a nod kind of joke, and I'm glad some people caught it, but I was like, why am I getting crap for that joke that everyone seemed to like?
Take my D, and he wouldn't accept anything but my D.
Yeah, but I mean, it was also being serious. Like, I mean, Jerry gave the grade a D. I
offered him an F. He said, "No, I don't want an F. I just want the D."
I accept your D only. Only.
And now we're pie facing you.
That's exactly. I like the subtle road, and sometimes we'll pie in the face.
Yeah. No, I don't put a little bit of hot pepper on it. I like to dump a whole gallon of salsa.
Right. Yeah. So, I kind of got a little pop too. I thought that, introducing a new character who I think might be recurring with New Day, but I can't tell yet. Did you catch Mr. Bootyworth?
You know that they're going to work Mr. Bootyworth everywhere now, right?
I mean, assuming
they did one promo that accidentally involved pancakes, and he said, "You're never going to flat my jack." And the next thing I know, they've got pancakes.
I barely remember what you're talking about. I don't even remember where the pancakes really came from.
Yeah, pancakes for whatever reason. They were doing a bit in catering, and they grabbed these pancakes, and someone knocked it out of Big E's hand, and he was like, "You made a big mistake. You flapped the wrong jack." And it's like, and now it's all pancakes all the time.
That's
so. If Mr. Bootyworth will be a shirt, I'm sure, at some point.
Mr. Bootyworth feels like he has the potential to be, what was his name? Ralphus. Remember Ralphus on Nitro with Jericho or not?
I do. The fat guy with the white shirt.
Yeah, right. Okay. So I feel like there's potential there. Curious to see if he becomes recurring or if he's a one-off kind of gimmick.
Now, I'll say I kept waiting for Sanity, and they never showed up, and I thought that they might show up through here. I thought Sanity starting with New Day would make sense, but it never happened.
Yeah, you were pretty sure that they were going to happen last night.
Well, they put the stinking thing on, and then it said next week, and then I don't know. Yeah. I'm just going with what they tell me.
I don't remember seeing that, but I'm definitely not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't catch it.
But then Andrade didn't show up either.
Well, Andrade had a promo.
He had a promo, and he said, something. I'm going to be here whenever I want to be here, I guess.
Which, by the way, also, I wanted to say this, and I think I like this, but they've largely done away. Remember when they went really heavy on the graphics?
Yo, that one episode, it was over the face. It was a pie face.
That was a pie in the face, and now it's more of a wink and a nod. Now it's more subtle.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Yeah,
say no more.
Exactly.
Say no
it's
more.
Like you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Now it's not as. By the way, I consider that more than just one episode. The Raw was doing it for a minute, but there was one SmackDown where I remember the first one they did said Rockstar over Nakamura's entrance.
And then every word that anybody said, it was like cartoon bubbles were coming out of their mouths. So I was like, what in the hell?
Yeah, I know. They pie faced us when I like that. When used properly, I'm okay with it. And
somebody got a new toy and couldn't help but use it too much. And then they were like, we're going to use it, but we're going to use it a little less.
Yeah, right. So that was what I thought about that. What about it looks like Lana will be replacing Aiden English with Rusev.
Well, it makes sense. Although, do you think Aiden English is part of Rusev's appeal? I actually hate when Aiden English sings. I don't like his voice. I think he sings in a key that's not pleasant to me. He doesn't sing Rusev. No. I hate it, and I want him dead. So I don't mind this, but I also think that if it's not broken, I don't know why you're trying to fix it.
Well, on the surface, I think I would appreciate if Rusev's going to be with one person, I'd prefer it to be Lana.
Me too.
However, I feel like this might be bad for a few things. Like, first of all, I think you can keep all three of them together, but I don't think it looks like they kind of fired Aiden yesterday. I don't think Aiden will be okay for a few weeks, but not for long on his own. He's going to be trouble. And also, I feel like the people that really pop for Rusev Day are like the smarter fans, and they probably prefer Aiden with Rusev than Lana, I would think.
And they've totally given up on Lana as a singles competitor, haven't they?
Well, we haven't seen her. It's been months, hasn't it?
Oh, months and months. I mean, they've just this all but nails that coffin shut.
That was a bad idea from the start. I mean, I remember we were talking about that before. It was just a bad idea.
I get she's over, but she's over because she's hot. Don't put her in a ballroom dress, ball gown, and don't make her dance, and don't make her lose the accent. And what are you doing?
Look, some people's lot in life is to be a manager, and some people's lot in life is to be a worker. You know, like, listen, Bobby Heenan, I mean, while he had some good matches, he was a manager. That's what he excelled at. That's what he was put here to do. Lana is probably more in line with the she's going to be the next, Sunny as opposed to the next Charlotte.
Oh boy. I don't see Rusev getting Chris Candido'd anytime soon. No, that dude's jacked.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone's going to be taking her. No one's going to be watching the boiler room door for, Michaels and Lana or whatever. What else happened? The big cast promo is actually the one I am naming this episode after because I think that might be the most buzzworthy moment from last night.
So do you think while he was rehabbing his leg, he was practicing mic skills? Because he got way better.
Well, maybe. But also keep in mind, we were barely exposed to his potential because he was always with Cass or with Enzo for most of it.
He was, and he had to give his line. He had to give the soft.
Yeah.
And he had to.
Now, it did seem like it was messy after the breakup that Cass couldn't hang on the mic. But also keep in mind he was positioned against Enzo, who, whether we love him or hate him, Enzo is one of the best talkers in the history of the business, even though I'm telling you, that's just the way it's going to go down. Maybe not number one, but he's among the best.
He's a good talker. Yeah,
absolutely. And then, Cass had a hard time hanging with him, but he's come back brand new with a fresh coat of paint, and he's hitting the ground running. And I think that he's done good work the past 2 weeks. Last night, I think he did a great job.
He did a great job, especially because the little person almost blew it. Like, he was bowing, and he was bowing for far too long.
And it seemed like Cass was kind of having to direct him, like where to be posing and stuff to hit some cues. And that takes some wherewithal too. Like when he's live, man, and when stuff goes off the rails, I mean, you've probably been in the situation before too, like on the radio where it's like, you kind of have to act on the fly here.
And he did. And he was like, no, come on, take him out over here. No, have these people over here. Because that guy didn't know what he was doing. At some point, he just kind of forgot. I think he forgot what he was to do, what his cue was.
I think so too.
And I was like, just bow, turn around. You're getting a boot, turn around. And he bowed, and then he stayed over like I thought he had a stomach ache. And then they missed the camera shot because of it.
Yeah, it did seem really messy, but not Cass's fault. But I think that Cass saved it. Like that, a normal wrestler, that would have been a disaster. And then Cass, of all people, came in and saved it.
Could you imagine Titus?
Titus is more the little person.
Come on, Titus. You're killing me. No, I give all the credit in the world to Cass. And I know we're going to be doing predictions here in a little while. And I'm going to tell you, Cass makes things hard because I have no idea where they're going with him next. And him feuding with Daniel Bryan, who is another on Wrestling from the Top. This is a feud that could really benefit Cass. And it has so far.
I had a really hard time with a lot of my predictions, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Actually, for those who are watching live, we will do our predictions here momentarily after this episode. We won't post them until tomorrow, but we will. If you really want the jump on it, you can watch us live here momentarily.
Yeah,
that follow-up episode. What else do I have? So Cass is excelling, and then I think that Nakamura is also excelling as a heel.
I have one thing to say about that, though. And I get it, because I'm the one that's always preaching you've got to suspend disbelief. But don't you think at this point, AJ Styles would just have a cup in? Don't you? I feel like at this point, we're like 9 low blows in. I'd just kind of wear a cup. I'd wear like a professional NFL grade ball protector. And I would just, and he would give me one of these gabooms, and I'd just go, I'm ready for this one. Turn around and give him some elbows. Stop leaving your hangbangs sticking around.
I feel like though,
he's leaving his nuts unprotected.
Okay, so I will say I have not thought of that brilliant thought that you had, but I feel like a cup is uncomfortable, and it's hard to fly around and be AJ Styles. I feel like with an athletic protector in there. Oh,
I bet he's got one in anyways. I bet he for real legit shoot has a cup in.
Everybody, I get asked that question quite a bit whenever people are watching wrestling with me, like for the first time, or they don't usually watch. I always say I'm pretty sure they don't, but I'm not positive. I don't think that most of them do.
Maybe. I know in mixed martial arts they wear cups. I know I can't get into the ring if I don't have a cup on. I know I'm not allowed.
Yeah, but I still don't.
Wrestling's different.
Yeah, wrestling's different. I don't know if anyone wants to weigh in on that. I'd be curious what you. I'm not trying to come off like an expert, but I think no.
So. I don't know, but I know this. Even if I never wore a cup, Shinsuke Nakamura gives me a shot to the balls. Every time I see him, I'm going to start wearing a cup. If every time I came to work, somebody gave me one of these through the legs, I would put a cookie sheet down there. I would do anything.
See, I would just I would still wear whatever I want to wear and just try to defend myself, and then maybe kick the ass of the person who keeps punching me in the nuts.
I'd hang a bear trap down there, get their arm caught in it.
Then you're going to lose your junk. I won't be able to accept your D.
I'd tie a mouse trap around the end of my babang.
You know, if you put a bear trap anywhere near your junk, that's the last day you're going to have your junk.
No, it's aimed away from my junk. Like, let's say my face is my penis and the bear trap's here, and then you come to get me, and I go, "Cow, you're good," and I'm still hanging around like this.
I feel like if you get your penis anywhere near a bear trap, you're gonna take a little off the top at the very least.
And I don't have a lot to spare. That'd be like when my dad would say, "I'm going to get my hair cut." I'm like, "Really? I don't think you need it."
Well, so I still get my hair cut, so it's rough. I never thought I'd be that guy who's losing hair, but it happened to me.
Getting old is a real bugger bagger.
Sure is. And then the only other real note I have, the main event was actually, I wanted to say this too. The Iconics, they needed no time to adjust to the main roster. I feel like they're doing well. Carmella's doing well. I feel like SmackDown has become the land of opportunities legit recently since the shakeup.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention from the show? Why did it get awkward in here?
It didn't.
What just happened?
Nothing happened.
Something happened. Why are you snickering?
I talk about my wiener, and then my brain went another direction.
I know when I lose you. Like I know you by now.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, it was a great episode.
Why'd you make it weird? You always make it awkward when you say, why is it awkward? Can't you learn that that's the most awkward thing you can say?
Watch the end of this episode and tell me who made this awkward.
Well, listen, I got distracted for a second, but then I came right back.
Did you?
I'm back.
Okay. All right. Well, then how do you want to end it then?
Say what you said the last time, and I'll give you a better reaction.
I said that the Iconics needed no time to adjust to the main roster, that they hit the ground running. They're doing very well. Carmella is doing very well now that she's been given an opportunity, and that SmackDown has truly been a land of opportunities since the shakeup.
I agree 100%. I agree. I agree 100%. He's hitting the button. I totally tightened this up. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted for a second.
Oh, you're the worst. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Sorry.